this goes out to all you players. This is a bit of a video around a daily stretch. So as most of you know, one of the key things that you need to do in preparation for your game is obviously to warm up and to stretch. However, what we don't do is we don't tend to do the stretching afterwards at the end of the day. So for example, if you're at the comp, if you've gone down to the Melbourne Classic, you might have 2, maybe 3 games in a day. At the end of the day, this is an ideal time for you to do this series of stretches. It's about 15 minutes worth of work. It's not a lot, but what we're going to focus on is we're going to focus on stretching through our hips, through our hamstrings, at the back through here, and through our hip adductors, so through this inside part of our leg. So there's a series of stretches. Each stretch you take from 1 minute to 2 minutes long. It's not a long time, but I need you to start focusing and sitting deep into these stretches. That's going to help. That's going to help with here. It's going to help with stretching the muscles, the ligaments, the tendons, particularly around the bones, the tie-ins to your ligaments and tendons around your knees. So what we're going to do, we're just going to jump into them and we're going to explain each one, and we're going to take our time. The first one, for those of you who have been to any of the DAP and TAP camps, you'll be familiar with. You guys get told it's a leg flush. Really what it's called a wall candle. So imagine a candle, nice, straight and tall. So the wall candle works as this. I'm aiming to get myself down onto the floor. I want to take my bottom and I want to push my bottom as close as I can up onto the wall. And then I'm going to lift my legs up. My legs are going to be straight. If you've got a little bit of a bend in your legs, that's okay. What will happen over time, as your hamstrings and as your lower back to your glutes starts to stretch and you get a little bit more limber, then what you'll do is you'll find that this stretch becomes easy. But a couple of key things. What we don't want is we don't want this lower part of our back to come off the floor. So if it comes off the floor and our tailbone or the top part of our bottom is off the floor, I need you to move out from the wall a little tiny bit. What I'm more looking for is for you to try to keep your legs as straight as you can. So for those who are quite flexible, if you can get hard up against the wall and your legs are up against the wall, you're trying to push your knees in. I want you to take it nice and easy. So getting into it is probably the most challenging part. It's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward. Listen in as we go along. So step 1, just get onto the floor. What I want you to do is come over to one side. You're going to lay on your side. You're going to try and put your bottom in close to the wall. From here, we're just going to simply invert our legs. So from here, I'm going to roll through. I've now got my legs here. Now, this one here, we have a little bit of a ledge. So I'm looking to keep my legs here nice and straight. If I've got my tailbone in, I can now take my legs and I can push my knees in a little tiny bit. What I'm aiming to do, you see my toes, how they're pointed up? I'm trying to pull my toes back. When I do that, I get a stretch through here, I get a stretch through here, and you're also going to find I'm going to get a stretch through my lower back. So this one here, nice and easy. We're going to hold this one for 2 minutes. Okay, come down, just slide down to the side, and we're done. Okay, so the first one, it's called a wall candle. Number 2, we're going to take that one, but this time we're going to split our legs into a V shape. Now what this is going to do, it's going to take a little bit of the pressure off the back of our calves, but it's going to put a little bit more stretch into here, through our groin and through our adductors and abductors, okay? So these are important for you guys. If you're been balling a while, you were jumping, you're trying to aim to get nice and high, you guys might want to one day want to dunk, you're going to find these are a set of muscles that are tied into your glutes and hamstrings, will actually help you get that explosiveness in your jump. So we call this a wall VSit, so just a letter V, pretty straightforward, and you'll see why it's a V. So again, same thing, get down onto the floor, get ourselves up. We're now down nice and low. As I roll around, I'm in my V-sit. Now, this time I'm not too close to the wall, so I need to come down, I need to scooch right up, and now I'm at the wall. So I'm going to start from here. What I'm going to simply do is this, I'm going to take my legs, and I'm going to slowly, as you can see, I've sort of drawn a bit of a circle. Now, when I think I've got my stretch, hold it for a little tiny bit, and now I want to go even further, even further. So I'm pulling my toes back,
pulling my toes back. I'm engaging through here, through the underside of my hamstrings, where they come down back in through here, and I'm pulling in my adductors. So from here, that's my stretch. My aim is to get as wide as I can. Not to a split, but just as wide as I can. You'll feel the stretch through here. Okay?
So that's your wall VSit. Again, we're looking for 2 minutes. Okay. The third one, we simply call this a night stretch. This, guys, is for pushing through our hips and again to extend through our hip flexors. So all you simply need to do, you need a mat. If you don't have a mat, you should all have a towel in your bag anyway when you come to training. So simply from here, back knee's here, other knee, I simply want to stretch forward so that my legs are 45 degrees. So when I do this, when I lean forward, I'm driving through this bottom, my right glute, I'm pushing my hips forward. I should feel a stretch, a little bit through here, but mainly through here. And I'm just going to simply sit and sit in this stretch. We simply call this a night stretch. So like the other ones, this time we're going to hold this for 1 minute on one side, 1 minute on the other. Now, if I want to make this a little bit harder, I simply take my hands up in the air and I push. Now I'm going to reach across to the outside of the front foot. Now when I do this, you'll find through here on the outside of the leg, you feel a little bit of a pinch on my hip, but then this side, up through here, my adductors, right the way through my hip flexors, into my core and my what we call our obliques, you're going to find we're going to get a big stretch. But I don't want you to lean forward. The idea is to be nice and tall, like you're guarding the biggest player on the court. Okay, hands up, rotate through. Again, push the hip forward. That there is our night stretch. Left leg for 1 minute. Take it easy. Just simply step back. Right leg for the other minute. Moving on to that. Now, for those of you who are far more agile, far more mobile, this is a more advanced version of that. So we take the same stretch, but we're now going to not just focus on here and here, we're also going to focus on this quad. We're going to get a big stretch through our quad. So we call this a twisted hip opener, right? And you'll see why. What we're looking to do is this, front foot forward. I'm going to lean forward. I'm going to place this hand on there. My back leg, I'm going to pull my back leg up, and I'm going to take my other hand, I'm going to reach around, and I'm going to grab it. Now when I grab it and I sit forward, I'm going to try to grab my toes. You can see at the back here. So if I move to the side, grab the toes, and we're sitting into the stretch. When we pull this up, what happens is this, our quad, your thigh, from here to here, you get a nice, big, deep stretch. So what I'm looking at, if I'm on the angle, is I'm from here, I'm sitting right into my stretch. I come back, I grab my heel, pull it up, grab my toes, and I'm sitting into this stretch. I'm trying to keep my posture as upright as possible and leaning forward. Now, if you can't get back and you can't grab your foot, no problem. What I simply need you to do, this is where the wall comes in. So option 2, we can move back. Move back, put this back knee up against the wall. The closer you are, the harder it is, okay? Simply sit here, and now I can still do the same stretch, but without so much pull on my quad. Option 2, if you can't get near a wall, grab a second towel, wrap it around your foot, hold onto the towel and pull it, okay? So this is all about opening up our hips, because as ball players, a bit like any other athletes, you guys have seen NBA, you see NFL, the American football players, the explosiveness comes from here. It's all based on your hips. One of the things that I do with other people is we try to, what we say, unlock the power. The power is in our hips. That's what helps us move. Clue, jump, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. It's all here. So we've gone through the wall candle. We've gone through the wall VSit. We've gone through the night stretch, and then the variation of that to make it a bit harder, the twisted hip opener. That's 4. That's 4 we've got. If we're doing this 2 minutes for the full ones and 1 minute each side, guys, we're only at 8 minutes, and that's our stretching routine halfway there. Next one, A variation on this about opening our hips is called the butterfly stretch. Some of you have seen this done before. It's not complicated. What I simply want you to do is this, sitting on the floor. You're going to pull your feet in. Now, for some of you, your hips will restrict your ability to move out. So I simply need you to do this. Grab hold of the feet, and I want you to try to pull these in as close as you can. When you pull it in, simply hold your feet. Level 1, just sit here. Just sit here. We're trying to push our knees out. Level 2, when we've got this, grabbing hold of my ankles, I'm going to put my forearms here and my elbows in, and I'm going to tie it, push all the way down. And as you can see, I'm coming a bit further forward, and I'm pushing down. I'm pushing down. Again, we're not trying to flap like a butterfly. We're just going to simply be here as a butterfly, and we're going to push this out. If it's easier when you do it out here, that's fine. Get it out there, practice it, then bring it in a little bit closer, and eventually you should be able to sit up here, nice and tall, straight back, and push those hips down. From here, the next thing we can do is we can do a bit of a back stretch in the same position. And what we simply do with that back stretch, we need to be able to make sure that we're forcing ourselves over, and it's going to round our back a little bit, which is not a bad thing to do. So what I simply want you to do is this. You're going to take your hands, but think like a pretzel. You're going to put your hand underneath. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take my left hand, I'm going to lift my ankle up, I'm going to slide through, I'm going to put my hand through, and I'm going to try to grab the top part of my shoe. So now I'm trapped, but I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Getting ready for this is the hardest part. Same thing here. All I'm going to do, dig my elbows in, push forward, and as I pull forward and I round my shoulders, I'm going to get a big stretch through my back. So sitting here, rounding my shoulders, and there's our stretch. Hold it, and we're going to try and do that for 2 minutes. Okay? So we're getting there. So we've gone from being our hips, our quads, our thighs, our hamstrings, starting to bring this up a little tiny bit into our lower back and even a little bit of our upper back. Okay, from there, we're going to come into the last couple. Okay? The last one is the deep stretch that we're going to go into, and then we're going to go into a 90-90. 90-90 is a bit of a little test for you. So a deep stretch or a deep squat. The key thing here is I'm trying to keep my heels on the ground. So, don't need the mat for this one. Take your mat out of the way. I simply want you to stand up. My head's probably come off the screen. What I want you to do is this. If you can keep your feet in the train tracks, do so. If you can't, I want you to turn your heels out a little tiny bit. And what I'm looking to do, adjust. I'm trying to sit down through my heels. So here, I'm sitting and I'm sitting and I'm sitting. Now I'm not letting my legs and my knees collapse in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray because you're going to want to pray for this to stop. If you're not used to this, holding this stretch can be quite sore. So I want you to start off with 20 seconds. Stand up slowly, then go to 40 seconds. Slowly build up. And I'm simply looking for me to just sit here, and the aim is to sit back, put my heels on the floor, and you can see I'm wavering a little tiny bit because I'm trying to concentrate on putting my weight through my heels and not lean too far forward. When I lean too far forward, my knees collapse. So I'm sitting here. To make it easier, if I turn my feet out even more, I should be able to sit here. Some of you can do this quite well, others will find it challenging, but it's a 2-minute hold. When you're finished, just simply put your hands down. Put your hands down. Don't try to stand up straight away, might make you dizzy. Okay? And that is our deep squat. It's 2 minutes. Last one for the day is a simple what we call 90-90 stretch. This is just going to see how good your hips are in terms of your overall mobility. So what I'm going to get you to do, sitting in front. Front leg from here, going to make a nice 90-degree. Back leg, same thing here. Take my knee, it's going to be up and along with my foot, and this is also going to be out. So it's not a full 90-90 with the hips open. Start off with the hips nice and close. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn to the side so you can see. So the drill is this, without using your hands. Sit up nice and tall. Get used to this position. When you're ready with this position, you can simply take this knee, and this knee is going to follow. Imagine that they're tied together with a piece of string. From here, we're going to come up, we're going to rotate through, and then we're going to sit down. And you can see, I'm a bit sitting funny on this side because one hip is tighter than the other. Hold the position, count to 5, push up, sit through, move it down. And again, you can see in this side, I'm far better. So my right hip's better, my left hip's the one that's a little bit tight. That's the 90-90 stretch. And again, start off slow, start off easy, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, and slowly build. Then this becomes a 2-minute drill. Okay, so to recap, a couple of exercises. First of all, our wall candle, you guys know it as a leg flush. It's a wall candle. Pushing our knees in, keeping our butt on the floor. Come into our VSit, and it's gonna open up our hips a little bit more. It's gonna hit our adductors, the inside of our thighs. From there, we come down into that night stretch, so up onto our knees. And if we want to go a little bit extra, we do the twist, go back, and we've got the twisted hip opener for our hips and also the other quad. Last two, butterfly stretch, then our hands underneath for our back stretch, and then we did those last two, the deep squat and the 90-90. If there's one thing I want you to try to practice, for most of you ballers, it's your deep squat. It's learning to get your weight through your heels. When you land, when you're jumping, when you come back down, you need to be able to learn to land, to take the weight through your balls of your feet into your heels. It'll help you in time, not be so much jarring, etc., particularly on the courts. That's it. That's our daily stretch routine. That's one of a couple, but have a go at that. What I'd like you to do, always give feedback to the guys here. Always give feedback to your coaches. Always give feedback to Norse and anyone in the Bear family. Let them know what you're doing. Let them know how well it worked. If it didn't work, if it was too hard, if it's too easy, if you want more of this, because then that way then they can put this stuff out there for you guys while we're in this period while we're waiting for things to start happening again. That's it. I'm Don McStraw. Most of you know me as Cody's dad. That's it. I'm going to come back shortly with a little video for more of an active warm-up for you on game day. Cheers.